Haque.
17 मिनट 17
Sir, Chairman, Vice Chairman, sir, I thank you for allowing me to participate in this important discussion taking place before this August House. Sir, I think that 82,700 crores has been allotted to this ministry, which is roughly around 3% of the GDP. And it is categorized into three departments, that is the three levels rather, that is the education at the primary or elementary level, the secondary level and the higher education level. Sir, I would like to point out that the gross enrollment ratio at the elementary level is around 97%. In the secondary level, there are two levels, that is class 9-10, it is, for class 9-10 it is 79%, and for class 11-12 it is 54%. And for higher education, sir, the figures come between 14 to 24% depending on various sources. However, a matter of great concern is that we have a very huge dropout rate of around 40%. Sir, attendance constitutes the most important factor in children's learning at all levels of education. Though the overall attendance under the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan has shown improvement from 68.5% in 2006 to 76.2 in 2013 at the primary level, and from 75.7% in 2006 to 77.8% in 2013 at the upper primary level. However, sir, a pattern of low attendance still continues to pose a challenge for children's learning and development at the primary and upper primary levels. One of the reasons for students' absence from school has been attributed to children being required to help parents in their agricultural activities, especially in the rural areas. This is particularly required because harvesting of some crops is a labor-intensive process. The problem is further aggravated by the fact that presently there is no adequate system put in place to track students' attendance during the harvesting season, which in turn culminates into a poor curriculum planning for the year and finally leads to students not only breaking a continuous study momentum for a particular year, but also missing important lessons for their learning. Hence, it is important that education being a concurrent subject, government must put into place adequate mechanisms to deal with the special needs of these children. Sir, I'd like to point out on the midday meal scheme that it was designed to improve the nutritional status of school-age children nationwide and as an added incentive for parents to send their children to school. This measure is in conformity with Article 24 of the Conventions of the Rights of the Child, to which India is a party. And it was supposed to provide adequate, nutritious food for children. So here I would like to point out a curious observation that this incentive is working in a different way, in that many children are now enrolling in both private schools as well as government schools. They're going to study in private schools, but they're going to eat their food in the government schools. So anyway, it's good. Sir, one serious fact that is as shocking as it might sound, but between 2013 to 2016, 280 complaints have been received regarding poisoning and supply of irregular food to children, which includes the tragic incidents at Nafsrijit Government Private School in 2014, wherein 23 children had died. Though, sir, it goes without a shadow of doubt that there are exhaustive monitoring mechanisms, but despite them in place, such complaints of poisonous and poor quality of food are being received under the MDM scheme. Hence, it is important that these mechanisms are made most strict and accountable on their working. So a big problem is the shortage of subject teachers, which is a predictor of poor exam performance. Passing of the grade 10 exam board exam is determined by the composite score from all subjects a student takes. Thus, any student attending a school without a full complement of specialist teachers will be at a distinct disadvantage in the examination. Without a specialist teacher, it is predictable that the student would not meet their potential in a particular subject and therefore underachieve in the state board exams. Shortfall in teachers, especially in science and maths and languages, is common across India. In many instances, this may be further exacerbated by suboptimal teacher deployment. In combination, this is likely to be contributing to high levels of exam failure, underperformance, particularly of the most disadvantaged sections of the population. So spending under RMSA is heavily dominated by two types of activities, that is civil work and staff salaries. These two activities absorb around 61.6% and 24.6% of the expenditure respectively, which was in 2013-14. So of the remaining amount, there has been very few resources spent on teacher and staff training, which covers all types of training for all types of staffs, training for community leaders and is MDCs, and on quality and equity interventions. The funds on innovations can be significantly increased with some creative planning. It is also noticeable that there are no resources spent on innovative activities. So ideally, education should lead to employability, but in reality, we see after formal education, a student has to join some course, and after completing that course, even if he gets a job, he still has to go some on-the-job training. Sir, I have to say that in the central universities, there is around 16,000 posts, but out of these, 6,000 varsity posts are lying vacant. These needs to be filled up immediately. Furthermore, sir, our universities have no international benchmark whereby there can be a comparison of the system of quality. In schools also, sir. So, also, sir, in the name of providing quality education, the private schools are hiking fees, which has made education very expensive. Sir, another important issue that I would like to shed light on is the IIM draft bill that threatens the autonomous working of the IIMs. In this regard, without going into detail, I would like to state that as reported by Indian Express on 26/4/2016, it seems there has been a tussle between the PMO and HRD over the draft bill. The HRD ministry, sources said, is not willing to dilute the clause that empowers the president to review the work of any IIM in his capacity as the visitor of the premier business schools. This, the government thinks, is needed for accountability. The PMO has suggested that the government remove the provisions for review in the bill. The ministry is also learned to have retained the provision which makes the HRD minister the head of IIM coordinating forum on the ground that IITs too are governed by similar clauses. Sir, beside these issues, this year has witnessed a dramatic turn of events at various universities, including JNU, with student protests being dealt with insensitively. In this regard, I would not state much, as a lot has been discussed and debated in the House over this subject matter, but I would like to say that in an educational institution, children must be taught how to think and not what to think. Sir, I end with an Urdu couplet that ilm se banti hai zindagi bandagi, ilm se banti hai zindagi bandagi, ilm na ho to zindagi kuch bhi nahi.
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत बेहतर।